Almost 2 years ago, we broke ground on a narthex, a place for us to gather before we enter into the church. And we're still in the process of spending some of the money that was earmarked as restricted to complete the narthex project. You'll recall that two individuals, one of which was myself, gave gifts last Christmas of icons to decorate the narthex. But we still have a decent amount of money left in the fund to decorate the narthex. So we're going to add 2 more icons to the narthex coming up here in the next week or so. One of them is going to be an icon of Saint Teresa of Calcutta. She's a saint who was born in 1910 in what is now Albania and died in 1997. I remember well, I was a freshman in college, just getting started, in India. She did work for the poorest of the poor and is an amazing individual. Why St. Teresa of Calcutta? Well, one thing is she's a popular, well-known saint. The other thing is, I've talked about this before, we at St. Paul have a particular mission to serve the poor. There are congregations that have wealthier individuals attending them, and that's good. But when we're talking about people who are younger at St. Paul, the people that we're serving the poor. And we look to St. Teresa of Calcutta as our inspiration so that we might be able to bring Jesus to the poor and to help them to build something greater in their lives, to help them to transform their lives. Because God doesn't will for people to suffer material destitution and moral destitution, which oftentimes accompanies material destitution. The other saint, Saint Junipero Serra, the founder of the state of California. Saint Junipero Serra was born in 1713 in the island of Majorca off the coast of Spain. He became a Franciscan missionary and did missionary work in what was the north of New Spain. Founded missions we might have heard of: San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. St. Junipero Serra sought to provide missions where native people could settle, could learn how to advance themselves in terms of agriculture and things like that, materially. But he also sought to preach the word of God to them so that they would not just know an improvement of their material condition, but also know the salvation of their own souls. It is true that in New Spain, the Spanish colonies in the New World, sometimes the Spaniards who were Catholics didn't treat the native people well. But St. Junipero Serra was an advocate for treating the native peoples like human beings with human rights and dignity, and most importantly, inviting them to come to know Jesus Christ, who is the only name under which people are saved. So you come to church in about 2 weeks, we hope. We'll have these icons up in the narthex, and we'll be able to contemplate God's handiwork in his saints.